Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 3 past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Erin down there's got local news in just a couple of seconds.
Cutting funding for the Saints because of the knee incident. We'll talk more about that. Another plane carrying victims of Hurricane Maria arrived in Shreveport. And are you ready for Rednecks for Hire?
What was that called again?
Rednecks for Hire.
How did the Cowboys do last night? I and millions and millions and millions of people wake up this morning and don't know. Fletcher and sports, traffic, and weather all coming up this hour. And it's right here on KEEL.
The KEEL Morning Report, now on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
At least one lawmaker wants to pull state funds from the Saints over protests. Matt Parker has that.
State Representative Kenneth Havard wants to cut all state funds, tax exemptions, and tax credits from the New Orleans Saints after some of their players protested during the national anthem on Sunday. Havard says that players have every right to protest, but not at a taxpayer-funded sporting event. He went on to say that he doesn't care who disagrees with him and his stance. From 1017 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Another plane carrying victims of Hurricane Maria arrived in Shreveport. Officials say the evacuees will be spread across hospitals throughout the Arklatex. The United Way says at this time there's no official shelter being planned or set up, that all immediate needs have been addressed. However, they do ask everyone that wants to help to send prayers and well wishes. 2 students recovering after being hit by a car. It happened near Walnut Hill Elementary. The students were getting off their school bus when they were hit. The driver was not ticketed because the students entered the roadway before the crossing arm was out to stop traffic. One student suffered a broken leg, the other minor bumps and bruises. Both are expected to make a full recovery. Once again, Louisiana ranks in the top 5 for the rate of women murdered by men. The Violence Policy Center looked at the latest numbers, which is 2015, and found the rate in Louisiana is double the national average, and the Bayou State has the 3rd highest ranking in the country. Executive Director of the Louisiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence, Mariah Wineski, says the report saddens her.
Unfortunately, it is not new. We have consistently ranked in the top 5 almost every year for the last 20 years that they've been tracking this data.
11 schools with military connections in Bossier Parish will split $1.1 million in grant money from the Department of Defense. The money will be used to help the schools fund Project Tactical, which stands for Teaching and Connecting through Interactive Classrooms and Language Arts. To get the money, at least 15% of the students enrolled had to be from military families. LSU hosts Troy Saturday night. Last week, LSU focused on not committing penalties. They only had 3 called against them in the Syracuse game. Head coach Ed Orgeron says they look to get more consistent on offense this week.
Not making the mistakes that we did in protection, be able to run the football, getting back to LSU style, being physical on defense, getting off the field on 3rd down, finishing games. It seemed like we started very slow on offense this week and ended up very fast. We started very fast on defense and ended up very slow. We need to play a complete game, especially this week.
There's yet another reality show with Northeast Louisiana ties that's quickly becoming the latest TV craze. Rednecks for Hire follows 3 men who do nasty jobs that no one else wants to deal with. David Yelton says he and Mike Myers and Kevin Dodd will do just about anything.
People were calling us left and right about catching animals out of their houses and things, and then we got into people were calling us about beaver dams.
The show airs on the CW network. A South Carolina sheriff says a man in an '05 Corvette was clocked doing 141 miles an hour on I-20, and when the deputy who stopped him asked why, he said he was on his way to visit his girlfriend in Myrtle Beach and couldn't wait to see her. Partly cloudy, high of 91 today, right now 73. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Tuesday morning traffic starting us off. Ruben's here.
Looks like I-20 westbound's got to clear all the way to Dallas right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-49 north near Kings Highway. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 11 past 6 o'clock. Robert J. Wright and groggy old Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. So how do you feel today?
I feel okay.
She remembered to turn the mic on.
I'm feeling okay.
Barely.
Not bad.
Your lips were parted to speak your first word before you remembered the mic was
Not
off.
much has changed yet. We're in kind of a honeymoon phase right now.
So you have begun this cleanse, this... No, not yet?
Not yet. I'm getting all the products today.
So what have you done so far?
I'm adjusting.
To what?
I have a bottle of water here.
Oh, my God.
This is day 2 without coffee.
Yeah.
I had my little...
But you haven't changed your diet yet? You haven't... So
not full-fledged. I'm weaning myself into this cleanse.
So if I got
which
you
I think is going to start tonight.
If, for example, are you going to have... Might you have a honey bun or a pecan roll today?
No, I'm not having anything like that. I'm avoiding anything like that as I get moving in that direction.
Wow, you're like an astronaut training.
Yeah, I kind of am. Yeah. I was thinking about on my way to see Dr. Jason, I was thinking about, running through DQ and, KFC
blowing it up on the way.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Wait.
What?
He hasn't heard this story. I'm not going to KFC again. You've not heard this story.
No.
I want to know if anyone would do this. I go through KFC. It's a rainstorm. I think it was you're on vacation. And I'm going to get some for my son. A bucket of KFC for my son who was at his job. I thought I'll bring a bucket for him and his buddies at work. I pull up to the little box and I, say, I'd like to order. I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't. No, wait. I'm sorry. They didn't answer me on the box. They didn't answer me on the little box. Like to order twice, didn't answer me. So I pull up to the window. There's nobody behind me in line. It's pouring down rain. I'm getting wet in the drive-thru.
Because your window's open.
Yeah, and they don't have a cover over their little box. So I pull up, and the lady opens the window, and she says, I'm sorry, but you have to order from the little speaker box. And I said, seriously? And she goes, yes, ma'am, we can only take your order from the speaker box. I said, well, nobody answered me at the speaker box, and my car was getting soaking wet. Well, I'm so sorry, but it's policy. You have to open from the speaker. You have to order from the speaker box.
But I'm here.
But I'm sitting right here.
And there's no one else here.
And I looked at her and I said, you seriously can't take my order right here? There's no one behind me in line. She goes, no, ma'am, we can't. I said, so your manager would know that you're telling me to drive back around to the speaker box in the pouring down rain where you have no cover over your speaker box and order? She says, yes, ma'am, I'm so sorry. And I said, well,
can your manager
Your manager would tell me that? She said, yes, ma'am, he would.
Come to the window.
I said, well, I'll tell you what. You tell your manager for me, thanks, but I'm going to Raising Cane's across the street. I came into this building, and I asked everyone, would anyone drive back to the speaker box?
Who
and
on
order?
earth?
Who would do that?
I wouldn't do that on a sunny
We
day.
have one coworker who would have driven back to the speaker box. Other people said they would have thrown stuff at the drive-through window and would have, spit. And, Matt was one of them.
I didn't say anything about spitting on anyone.
You would have thrown stuff at her.
Well, no, I didn't have anything to throw, but I definitely would have.
Would you have cursed?
I would have not been as nice as you were in the situation you were presented with.
What kind of stupid corporate rule is that? You have a paying customer. I was going to spend $25 sitting in your drive-thru, ready to give you money
on a rainy day.
On a rainy day, you can see my car got soaked. Sitting at your stupid call box, and you're standing here. I'm 1 foot from you, and you're not going to take my order?
You know what drives me crazy about this story? She yells at us instead of at the clerk.
I didn't yell at her. I was, I was really
she's
nice.
Taking it out on poor Matt and
I
Bobby.
know.
But, I will never eat at KFC again.
Here's my thought, that somewhere deep in the recesses of her rather manipulative mind, she's thinking, I can play this into 100 pounds of free chicken.
Well, I was thinking, give me the manager. I was thinking, do I go through the get me the manager? And then I thought, if I get me the manager and then they make me my chicken, they're going to spit on it. And I did think, well, it's for my son anyway. It's not for me.
Lawsuits. How many? This is not going to end well.
I was.
You said I started the day. I started this segment about 3.5 minutes ago, and I said, how do you feel this morning on this cleanse? You said, fine.
Now you got me done ticked off.
Already. The degree of your chemical imbalance is so obvious to me.
I forgot I'd never told you that story.
And everyone listening.
What would you do if you're sitting at that window and she says, "Sir, you have to go back to the call box"?
Of course, I would not have gone around.
Would you have been? Would you have been polite to her? Would you have been mean, rude?
No, no.
You would have just driven off.
Yeah.
You know what one of our coworkers did, which was. I should have
did or thought to do.
Said he would have done.
Because it's a world of I got you in hindsight.
Here's what he would have done. And this was diabolical.
The French call it the wit of the staircase, i.e., what I should have said was.
I know, this is brilliant. He said, I'd have ordered 5 big buckets of chicken. And then wait about 2 minutes, whatever. And then
driven away.
Off.
Yeah.
Driven off. and they have 5 buckets of
Yeah,
chicken.
because
to get rid
God
of.
knows they're making it fresh right there.
Oh,
Nothing's
man.
pre-made
I
at
just-
that joint.
I don't get those stupid corporate policies. I know we have some too, but that's a little bit nutty.
By the way, I just made your coffee according to corporate policy.
Oh, thank you.
18 past 6 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. So did the Cowboys win last night? What happened?
Yeah, they won, but it was a really pretty good game. Pretty good game. They did kneel before the national anthem in unison,
Wait.
locking
Explain
arms.
to me. I'll tell you what. We'll go to break. When we come back, you can explain to me what happened. I don't know.
You know the good thing about it? For the first time in Monday Night Football history for ESPN, I think, they actually showed the national anthem.
It
They usually don't.
is not, listen to me, there is no way that this can end well for the NFL.
No.
There is no way
We have some ratings numbers, too, for Sunday night's game.
that this can end well for the players. And I have a little analogy for you that I think women everywhere will understand, which will explain to you why in a, I was going to say a roundabout way, but no, in a very direct way, the NFL is just, and I sort of touched on this yesterday, they're screwing themselves. They just are. And all these people, all the media is cheering them on, the left-leaning media from CNN and ESPN and everybody, all the leftist media is go for it, run faster. But they're headed for a cliff. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, 19 past 6 o'clock. It is time for traffic. Here's Ruben.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Line Avenue near Dalzell Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twenty-one past 6 o'clock, time for sports on Keel. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Houghton's Dak Prescott led the Dallas Cowboys to a 28-17 win over Arizona on Monday Night Football. Bouncing back from a rough outing last week, Prescott dove into the end zone, flipping over a defender to finish a 10-yard scoring run to even the game at 7 apiece in the second quarter. Midway through the third, Des Bryant took a short pass from Prescott, barreled through and into several Cardinal defenders, eventually moving the dog pile over the goal line to make it a 14-7 game after the Dan Bailey point after. Arizona tied the game on a Carson Palmer-Larry Fitzgerald combo late in the third, and in the final stanza, Prescott fired a laser to Bryce Butler in the end zone from 37 yards out while rolling to his right. That gave Dallas a 21-14 lead. The Cardinals kicked a field goal to make it 21-17, but Ezekiel Elliott's 8-yard touchdown with less than 5 minutes to play sealed the win for the now 2-1 Cowboys. Prescott finished 13 out of 18 for 183 yards with 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys surrendered 325 yards passing to Palmer, but they also sacked him 6 times. The Astros pounded Texas 11-2 Monday night with Marwin Gonzalez accounting for 4 hits and 3 RBI. The Rangers are now 6 games out of the wild card, 6 to play. Houston is 2 games behind Cleveland for the best record in the American League and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They do on the tiebreaker with the Indians. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Twenty-three past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, it's 1017 FM 710 Keel, Shreveport Security Systems text line. All morning long, we await your thoughts and comments at 318-392-1884. Before we get to the NFL stuff and the Cowboys and all that kind of stuff from last night, I have a question.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so this guy's going down the road at 141 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And
love is sweet.
Hang on just a second. Just help me out with this.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy in the Corvette is driving down I-20.
Hauling booty.
At 141 miles an hour.
Now, it's in South Carolina, not I-20 here, FYI.
Okay, I apologize.
It's the same interstate, though.
I guess so. Yeah, you're driving too fast to turn. So the guy's going down the road at 141 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then in your news story, you use the following phrase. The police officer who pulled him over. Mm-hmm. Okay. How fast was that guy going?
He had to be going about that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Those police cars got souped-up engines.
They won't go 140 miles an hour.
Oh, BS.
I bet they don't.
Oh, yeah.
Parky, you would know.
They got some
You've attempted to make an
cop
escape.
cars.
I've never attempted to make an escape. Let's just say I've had officers have it to catch up with me,
yeah.
but I wasn't exactly running.
But you're too drunk to run.
Not alcohol involved.
Wow, there's a story we don't know.
Yeah.
Boy.
Okay, so
They got fast cars, yeah.
they will go.
All you have to do is get close enough to see the lights, and if you're a decent human being, you'll pull over. So
Right.
I bet that's, the guy in the cop car is doing 120, the other guy's doing 140. He's just hanging around close enough to get the lights in the window.
Since when did police re-embrace the idea of chasing people? Because they don't anymore.
They don't if it's a danger to other people. They don't.
What
if
about
it's
120 miles an hour on an interstate is not a danger to other people?
I know.
I mean, look, it's okay with me if a guy flies by me at 120. I figure he's got a reason.
Yeah.
But with the current law enforcement zeitgeist of they don't chase a guy at 30 a lot of times because they don't want to endanger the general population.
Sure. I guess there weren't enough people around. They figured they could chase him. I don't know.
What time of day was this?
I'm not sure. I don't know. But he's in love.
I mean,
He
if you're
wanted to
going
get to
if
see
you're
his
going
woman.
140 at night, remember in driver's ed you're overrunning your lights.
Yes. Yes.
In other words, you're traveling faster than your ability to. Now, it makes it sound like you're going the speed of light, and I don't mean to imply that. I mean, Corvettes are fast, but 186,000 miles a second is not one of its qualities.
They caught him. They caught up with. And it may have been they pulled up at his house later and got him. I don't know, but it sounds like they pulled him over.
Way you wrote it, when way the story came over the wire, so to speak, when they caught the guy.
Mm-hmm. He told him when he
stopped
told
off
him he
for
was
a
headed
drive-through. He got mad at KFC. Oh wait, that was somebody else.
He's headed to see his girlfriend in Myrtle Beach, and he missed her.
So last night, Monday Night Football. Let me see if I've got this right. The Cowboys came out and before the anthem joined arms and knelt down.
Mm-hmm.
In what they described, team officials described, what was it? A display of unity and a call for equality. Well, that's going out on a moral limb. And then they stood up arm in arm for the anthem.
Yes, they did.
Meanwhile, at the other end, now, from what I read, the Cardinals in the end zone as a team, if I got this right, Matt, Cardinals as a team went to the end zone and joined arm in arm with members of the military. They asked the Cowboys to join them in that show of unity with the military, and the Cowboys basically said, no, we've got our own show planned.
Mm-hmm. They did their own thing.
Am I missing something here?
No, they were all standing for the anthem. And
arm in arm.
Arm in arm, yeah.
Well, when did they do the kneel down thing?
The Cowboys did the kneel down right before the anthem on the sideline.
So, you know, there's a phrase, in fact.
And it was only for about 15 seconds.
A couple of phrases come to mind. One is too smart by half. And basically, that's like saying too smart for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jerry Jones and the Cowboys management that obviously came up with this, are they being too smart for their own good? I mean, are people really going to split the hairs?
Well, they got booed when they kneeled.
Are they really? Well, we didn't kneel for the anthem. In fact, part of their official statement, part of the Cowboys' official statement was, we don't want our show of unity to be confused with being part of the anthem. Do you think is Jerry Jones too smart by half? Is he too smart for his own good? Is anybody going to say, well, you know what, the Cowboys, they knelt down, but it was before the anthem? Is anybody going to really care, or has that symbol of kneeling down, taking a knee, if you take a knee anytime, is it now going to be perceived as being disrespectful to America?
No, I don't think so. I think you want to show unity in cases where you think there has been some injustice.
This is not about that anymore. The players admit it's not about that anymore. It has nothing to do with inequality or racism or police brutality toward blacks.
Mm-hmm.
All it has to do with now is we hate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that when we get back. Local news is up next, 629. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Line Avenue near Dalzell Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Power of information. KEEL News now.
Maine Senator Susan Collins says she's a no vote on the Graham-Cassidy bill. She says the Congressional Budget Office review was the final straw.
It found, as I expected would be the case, that it would have a negative impact on millions of Americans who are now insured.
She says the Graham-Cassidy bill would cause many Americans to lose coverage and cut protections for people with pre-existing conditions. Baton Rouge Representative Ted James says fellow House member Kenny Havard is wrong to suggest the state should stop providing tax money to the Saints because they had players who didn't stand for the national anthem. James says Havard must have forgotten that lawmakers take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and that violates the First Amendment.
People don't have to ask permission to protest or the manner in which they protest. Representative Havard, he wants to pick on certain size women and strippers. Now he wants to pick on black athletes.
Havard says he believes in the right to protest, but not at a state-subsidized sporting event. Students hit getting off a school bus. Matt Parker with that.
2 students are recovering after being hit by a car Monday morning near Walnut Hill Elementary. The 2 students were getting off their school bus when they were hit by a passing car. The driver was not cited in the incident because the students entered the roadway before the crossing arm was out to stop traffic. One student suffered a broken leg, the other minor bumps and bruises. Both are expected to make a full recovery. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Another plane carrying victims of Hurricane Maria arrived in Shreveport last night. Officials say the evacuees will spread across hospitals all throughout the Arklatex. The United Way says at this time there's no official shelter being planned or set up. Once again, Louisiana ranks in the top 5 for the rate of women murdered by men. Executive Director of the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, Mariah Wineski, says one factor is inadequate funding for domestic violence services for those seeking immediate safety.
So although they are working very hard and they provide excellent programming for domestic violence victims, they are stretched dangerously thin in our state.
We have the 3rd highest rating in the country. Mexican government officials still calculating the economic losses of the earthquake that caused widespread damage in the capital, but for the manager of a downtown restaurant, it's already all too clear. Sitting in the entrance of his damaged restaurant surrounded in caution tape, he said, "This is a bust." 25th ranked LSU continues preparing for Troy. Last week, LSU focused on not committing penalties, and they only had 3 called against them in the Syracuse game. Coach O, though, says Syracuse did a good job of pressuring Danny Etling and Miles Brennan. Coach O says the offensive line can't get beat in one-on-one battles.
A lot of times they were blitzing those inside linebackers, and we should have picked them up. There was a couple of miscommunications in our protection, but the ones that we're most disappointed on is the technique on the one-on-ones.
Again, the Tigers play Troy at Tiger Stadium Saturday night. This sounds like a scene right out of Raising Arizona. A 1-month-old baby found on the side of an Oklahoma interstate in a car seat, stuffed with $5,500 in cash and a birth certificate. The baby is now in state custody while authorities investigate. Partly cloudy today with our high temp near 91, right now 73. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
So in the middle of the afternoon, maybe 5 or 6 o'clock. So early evening, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Erin texts me, Maddie, grab your mic a second. Erin texts me out of the blue, and I'm intrigued by what you wanted, why you wanted to know this. And what was it, about 5 or 5:30, somewhere in there?
Something like that.
And she texts me and says, what was the movie that you and Matt were talking about off the radio yesterday that you said you wanted to watch, and then we talked about it on the radio for a second or two. And I said it was Radio Days, the Woody Allen movie. Now, why on earth, and you said you were going to watch it last night, which you probably did not do.
I did not.
Why did you want to know what movie it was?
Well, I had some downtime before the football game started, and I thought, well, I'll go watch whatever
you watched
movie.
the game last night.
Of course I did. Of course I did.
That's right. You've decided not to boycott the games.
I wanted to watch the anthem part of it too to see if ESPN was actually going to show the anthem because they never do. And Jordan Sparks sang, and she's awesome.
Well, the Cowboys had announced before the game that they were going to do.
I know, and I was watching to see what they were going to do.
But the point is that you knew as soon as the Cowboys said it. Look, if you don't think that wasn't choreographed, staged,
of course it was,
and and trying to court favor with leftists everywhere,
because they are America's team. They were trying to do something great.
Well, we'll talk about that in the next
But
segment.
I had some downtime, so I thought, well, I'll go watch whatever that stupid movie was that you guys were talking about. How great a movie! That movie sucks.
Did you watch it?
I watched 30 minutes of it, and I was like, this is so stupid.
What was stupid about it?
It's just Woody Allen. I'm not a Woody Allen fan, and God, he's so egotistical. He's such a jerk. He's such a jerk, and the movie reeks of it.
In that movie, he has a very small part in that movie. In fact, he is a minor character in his own film.
I know, but
the movie centers around the family when he's a kid growing up and how they
the kid is him, and it's all about him, and it's all about
how they take in their relatives who are fleeing the Nazis from Europe.
I didn't even get to that part. I got to the first part where he's trying to collect money for the Jews in a Jewish homeland, and
Wait, you didn't get to the part where they're trying to save the Jews from the Germans, and then you just said I got to the part where they
were trying to set up a homeland for the Jews, and he was trying to steal the money.
Wait, what was that called?
He wanted to steal the money for some toy he wanted.
Israel.
It's just Woody Allen. Ugh. I'm not a Woody Allen fan.
I think we've captured that.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
So you watched 10 minutes of the movie,
decided you didn't
and missed all the major plot points, and decided the movie sucked.
Well, maybe I'll have to try again. I don't know.
Nah,
it was
why bother?
Yeah,
I'll go back to watching the Kardashians.
It was it looked like it was trying to be the Brighton Beach. It was trying to recreate those great Neil Simon movies. What was the ones with Matthew?
Brighton Beach Memoirs and stuff like that.
Yes, it was trying to be those movies. But it had that annoying Woody Allen voices and
anti-Semite down the other end of the table.
Wow.
What the heck?
Get Woody Allen out of my life
Trump,
forever.
settle down.
Mia Farrow, good riddance to him.
639, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update coming up right now. Okay, the Cowboys think that they were geniuses last night.
Yeah.
I got news for you. That they may as well have turned their backs on the flag. I will explain. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Line Avenue near Dalzell Street due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 642. The Shreveport Security Systems text line, 318-392-1884. Okay, so the Cowboys last night, they took a knee as a team. Oh, speaking of, oh my God. Did you see that the Alejandro Villanueva guy
Yes, Matt was telling me about that.
has apologized?
It was an accident. He didn't mean to be standing there.
He said, well, what he said was he didn't think it through. That if he had to do it again, he would have been unified with Alejandro Villanueva is the former Army Ranger who's a defensive lineman for the Steelers. And he did 3 tours in Afghanistan, etc. Well, the Steelers as a team, I'll phrase this specifically I am phrasing this purposely this way. The Steelers as a team were unified in that they did what they were told to do.
Yeah.
That literally Coach Mike Tomlin said, we are not getting involved in any of this.
We're staying in here and shutting our mouths.
And the problem is, by their absence,
It was a protest.
it was deemed, well, yes.
Of course.
But that's not how, according to the team, that's not what they meant to do.
Right.
They wanted, as Tomlin said in post-game interviews, we did not want to be part of a political circus. So he said, and the way he made it sound, Matt, am I wrong that Mike Tomlin, Steelers coach, basically, what I read into his interview was, I ordered the team that you ain't going out there. I told them you are not going out there for this. We as a team will not take part. We will not be part of this circus. Villanueva, former Army Ranger. Is that what you read into his interview?
Not exactly, but sort of.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are saying that Tomlin has been chastising or busting on or insulting Villanueva. I didn't get that from the interview at all, but what I did get was I told the team, here's what we're going to do, and we're going to be united because I'm freaking telling you we are. Now, Villanueva went out and stood in the tunnel, former Army Ranger, hand over heart, and sang the anthem. And now he's apologized for that. Do I understand that correctly? He said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. I broke unity with the team, and what he really apologized for was I put the spotlight on myself. You're raising your hand over there.
I was trying to find his full statement. Apparently, him and the team captains were going to do have the team behind them in the tunnel, and Roethlisberger, Villanueva, and a couple other guys were going to stand out there and do the pledge. But with all the craziness in the tunnel before the game.
But is that where we are, where a former Army Ranger is apologizing for saluting the country for which he fought?
He's apologizing for letting down his teammates and making them look like fools, not...
Well, maybe the team looked like fools.
To you.
Look, you make my point. I will thank you now, and look.
Well, he got all this positive attention.
Okay.
And they wanted no attention.
Here's the deal.
That's the problem.
Here's what this is. The players can say it's about X, Y, or Z all day. But to the fans, that's not what it's about. Here's my analogy, okay? Let's say, theoretically, ladies, you are married, and your husband is cheating on you, and you catch him cheating, and you say, what the hell are you doing? You're cheating on me. You're destroying our marriage and family. And he, as men are wont to say, looks at you and says, no, she doesn't mean anything to me. How many men have said that, right?
Oh, yeah.
She means nothing to me.
Right.
And you, ladies, you say, wait a second. Might not mean anything. It means something to me.
You bet.
It's pissing me off. You are destroying our marriage. You are breaking our vows. You are destroying our family.
Yep.
And your husband looks at you and says, but you just don't get it. She doesn't mean anything to me. How many times have you heard the phrase, it's not personal, it's business?
Yeah.
And your response is, screw you, it's personal to me. So the point I'm making is that the players can march out there and they can kneel and they can disrespect the flag and they can do whatever they want to do and explain it any way they want to explain it. They can say, we are standing up to Donald Trump. We are standing up to racism. We are standing up for, you make up whatever you want it to be. But in the eyes of the fans, you're disrespecting the flag and you are disrespecting America.
Right.
And in the eyes of the fans, you are out there disrespecting the nation. You are telling people who work for a living that you, Mr. Multi-million-dollar athlete, have no gratefulness.
Yep.
Or gratitude is what I should have said. Have no gratitude for the nation that has allowed you so much.
Right.
So you can say, I'm standing up to Donald Trump. I'm standing up against police brutality. And maybe in your mind you are. But you know what? Just because cheating husband, you say she doesn't mean anything to me, doesn't mean that the people, the collateral damage is beyond your control. And the NFL players and the owners and the commissioner don't seem to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Because to the people watching the games, the fans, the everyday Joes and Josephines, they see players, they see them disrespecting their nation. And the players are going, no, 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 you don't understand. She doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
It's not personal, it's business. No, dude, it's personal.
By the way, Sunday night ratings were down by at least 10%.
649, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic coming up. How's about right now? Here's Rapid Ruben.
Everything's still running nice and smooth for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Linwood Avenue near Mount Zion Road due to construction. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
When it happens, and what happens next, happens here. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KeelNews.com.
It's like a miracle. 6:52, sports time on Keel.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Houghton's Dak Prescott led the Dallas Cowboys to a 28-17 win over Arizona on Monday Night Football. Bouncing back from a rough outing last week, Prescott dove into the end zone, flipping over a defender to finish a 10-yard scoring run to even the game at 7 apiece in the second quarter. Midway through the third, Des Bryant took a short pass from Prescott, barreled through and into several Cardinal defenders, eventually moving the dog pile over the goal line to make it a 14-7 game after the Dan Bailey point after. Arizona tied the game on a Carson Palmer-Larry Fitzgerald combo late in the third, and in the final stanza, Prescott fired a laser to Bryce Butler in the end zone from 37 yards out while rolling to his right. That gave Dallas a 21-14 lead. The Cardinals kicked a field goal to make it 21-17, but Ezekiel Elliott's 8-yard touchdown with less than 5 minutes to play sealed the win for the now 2-1 Cowboys. Prescott finished 13 out of 18 for 183 yards with 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys surrendered 325 yards passing to Palmer, but they also sacked him 6 times. The Astros pounded Texas 11-2 Monday night with Marwin Gonzalez accounting for 4 hits and 3 RBI. The Rangers are now 6 games out of the wild card, 6 to play. Houston is 2 games behind Cleveland for the best record in the American League and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They do own the tiebreaker with the Indians. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Look at me. Look at me. Put the camera on you. Now put the camera on me. Now take your hand off your mouth. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Keep the camera on you, okay? By the way, if you'd like to watch the show as it unfolds.
Oh, there's some drama.
You can watch the show on the Keel Facebook page and the Keel YouTube channel.
Behind the scenes stuff, boy, I hope you don't lip read.
Well, this is not going to be behind the scenes. This is going to be in front of the curtain.
I know.
Yeah, we're putting it right out front.
I was...
Here you go again. I know what you're doing.
I was seriously tempted to take the segment of yesterday's show. This will make Matt smile.
No, I doubt it will.
I am seriously tempted to, during the 10-minute news break we have coming up here, 8 or 9 minute news break.
You cannot find it.
I know exactly what
we
it was.
We found it within 10 seconds.
You cannot hear it.
It's 8. Yes, you can.
No, you cannot.
Hey, Robert, talk like Kim Commando talks.
No, I don't want you to say what she said.
Well, no, I'm just going to prove a point by speaking over top of you.
Erin had a slight
finger problem,
profanity slip yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
As the show was ending.
Yes, I did.
See, oh man, we don't have time. We'll tell you more just after 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's worth the wait, and it will make you smile because I think we should replay this.
Well, that I agree with.
It's a question of with or without the beep.
I don't care.
Rush Limbaugh on Keel.
Hey, we have a surprise report from the New York Times. Some in Silicon Valley think the tech world's push for gender equality has gone too far. The New York Times says that Silicon Valley has long been identified as one of the most hostile work environments for women, even though the place is dominated by liberals. Now go figure that. So human resources departments are trying to equalize everything, and the result is that Silicon Valley is a hostile work environment for men. And there's a backlash. When Google fired that 28-year-old millennial engineer for posting his frustrations about nonstop diversity training, it sparked a new subculture. A movement focusing on men's rights is quickly emerging. The Times interviewed one guy who says the diversity requirements created a witch hunt atmosphere. He was interviewed from a soundproof booth out of fear he might be overheard. He said the reaction to anyone who voices incorrect opinions on gender is almost religious. It's almost zealotry. Now, until recently, men opposed to Silicon Valley's diversity obsession were considered fringe. Now, even investors are beginning to pay attention to their complaints. Recent studies show the line for what is considered sexual harassment is too easy to cross, and the tech world's goal of gender parity might be too extreme. I have a solution. Hire the best qualified, regardless of gender. Simple. But as I said, the place is run by liberals, and to libs' merit is divisive. Not cool.
Down Home Meats in Stonewall makes hickory smoked sausage the old-fashioned way, by hand, with only the finest and freshest ingredients and no fillers. Down Home Meats, owned by the Chamberlain family since 1982, makes old-school smoked meat and sausage that's done right. Down Home smoked sausage so good it was featured on the Food Network show Barbecue America with Rick Brown. Next time you're shopping for groceries, grab a couple of packs of Down Home sausage. Sausage that's done right.
Oh, you want an intro? 6:59 traffic time.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Hearn Avenue near Midway Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road and Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
7:03, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Miss Erin down yonder's got local news up next.
Could the door be open to Uber? We'll talk more about that. The drama at the Cowboys game, we'll have that as well. And 2 students hit by a car getting off their school bus.
Remember a guy who used to be manager of the Yankees, Billy Martin? Remember him? He was like a heavy drinker and was basically crazy.
Oh, and hit people and push dirt on them?
Heavy drinker and basically crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a story about Billy Martin, former Yankees manager, crazy, heavy drinker. That is exactly like you.
Oh, boy.
No, you'll like it.
I'm not a heavy drinker.
It's, okay. Well, what's left? Plus Fletcher and sports, traffic and weather all coming up this hour, and it's right here on Keel.
The IRS 30.
The Keel Morning Report. Now on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
The Shreveport Council is opening the door to Uber and Lyft. Final action could come today on changes to the ordinance governing ride-sharing companies. One of the holdups has been the hold harmless agreement the city was requiring the companies to sign. Another issue has been the fee structure. The game itself had its share of drama, but many people took a peek at Monday Night Football to find out what the teams did during the pregame ceremony. The Cowboys drew some boos from the crowd in Arizona by kneeling as a unit, though they didn't do it during the anthem. The team and owner Jerry Jones kneeled as a group for a few seconds, then rose as a group before the Star-Spangled Banner was sung. Cowboys won the game. Baton Rouge Representative Ted James says fellow House member Kenny Havard is wrong to suggest the state should stop giving the Saints money because they had players who didn't stand for the anthem. James hopes Havard is only seeking attention because it's obvious the protesting athletes are not disrespecting our military. He says he welcomes a discussion if lawmakers genuinely want to talk about incentives and address the deficit problems in our state.
But to come out now, right after horrible remarks by the president, it leads me to believe that Representative Havard agrees with the remarks from President Trump. And until I hear differently, that's the way I'm going to approach it.
In the 2016 legislative session, Havard was in hot water after he made a joke suggesting strippers should weigh under 160 pounds. 2 students recovering after being hit by a car near Walnut Hill Elementary. The 2 were getting off their bus when they were hit. The driver was not cited in the incident. More evacuees come to Shreveport for shelter. Matt Parker with that.
Another plane carrying victims of Hurricane Maria arrived in Shreveport Monday evening. Officials say the evacuees will be spread across hospitals all throughout the Arklatex. The United Way says that at this time there's no official shelter being planned or set up and that all immediate needs have been addressed. However, they do ask everyone that wants to help to send prayers and well wishes to those affected by the storm. For 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Once again, Louisiana ranks in the top 5 for the rate of women murdered by men. Executive Director of the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, Mariah Wineski, says one factor is easy firearm access. She says state and federal law prohibits many abusers from having guns, but Louisiana lacks any consistent process for actually implementing those prohibitions.
A lot of people who are convicted of domestic abuse battery, and therefore they're prohibited from possessing a firearm, nonetheless are able to retain access to their guns.
LSU gearing up for Saturday's game against Troy. Coach O says expect to see true freshman Miles Brennan continue to get snaps. Brennan played 3 series in the Syracuse game and guided the team on a touchdown. He also threw an interception in another. Danny Etling says it's important he stays in a rhythm and have the proper mindset.
Try and make sure you don't press and try and do too much now because you feel like you need to do that. Just do your job and stay in your lane and try and do what you're supposed to do.
There's yet another reality show with Northeast Louisiana ties quickly becoming the latest TV craze. Rednecks for Hire follows 3 men who do nasty jobs no one else wants to do. One of them, David Yelton, says everything you see on the show actually happened the exact way it's presented.
What we talk about, how we do it, is not scripted at all. There's no way to script it.
You can see the episode 1 right now at KEELnews.com. Partly cloudy today, the high temp near 91, right now 74. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Tuesday morning traffic. Here's Rapid Ruben.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic at the intersection of North Market and North Common Street. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twelve after 7 o'clock, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. So I don't mean this. It's going to sound terrible. Oh, first of all, KEEL Win Cash. Your chance to win up to $5,000. This, by the way, presented by Tilley's Mobile Homes. Is that
Greg Tilley's Bossier Manufactured Housing.
Okay, thank you. Go to the KEEL website, KEELnews.com. Today's code word is back.
Yeah, like baby got back.
That's not the first thing that would come to my mind, but I know which. Okay, so you put in the code word, and you could win up to $5,000.
Uh-huh.
KEELnews.com, KEEL Win Cash, presented by Greg Tilley's Manufactured
But Bossier
Homes.
Manufactured Homes.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Is the city folding up on this Uber thing, or are they realizing maybe the rules that we set were a little outlandish?
They're making a little wiggle room.
Let's ask the Uber expert.
Yeah.
Matthew?
The Uber's basically getting what they want, which is what they get in every other city in America, not the some of the stupid things that the city of Shreveport tried to.
Now that's an interesting. That's a very pointed remark you just made.
It's just when you look. Let's say I was running city government and I was on the city council and I was putting together a plan. Wouldn't you look at other cities and see what they do? Like maybe of similar size, like, hey, why would we charge someone, this company $1.25 to pick someone up from downtown? When you look at the population and the amount of people, it's not worth it to the company.
Somebody said to me last week, they said, well, why did the city of Shreveport reject Uber? And I said, they didn't. Uber rejected the city of Shreveport. Is that fair?
They definitely made it not beneficial for Uber to come here.
So these rules are changing.
It looks like they're going to eliminate what they were requiring, which is called a hold harmless agreement.
What the heck is that?
Which is you must hold the city not responsible. The city must be held not responsible for anything one of your drivers may do.
Right.
And we must be honest about what this is about. This is absolutely about the Justin Bloxham case, because the city was sued over that case because of a cab driver. And the city had some culpability apparently in that case. I don't know what came up, but that's what they're talking about behind closed doors. Nobody is saying it out in the open. But we all know in our community what happened in that case.
So what rules that the city council initially said that
the city wanted to be held harmless. We don't want to be held responsible for what one of your drivers may do, because they've gone through that already. They've gone through being held accountable, and they don't want to be held accountable again. But that's a clause that Uber just couldn't deal with, apparently.
Yeah, well, both companies, Lyft and Uber, says they've never had to sign such an agreement anywhere else, and not just in the United States. So.
Well, there may not be another city who's gone through what we've gone through here, and you got to be honest about it. That's what this is about, and nobody is saying it, nobody's talking about it, but that's what this is about.
Yeah, I got a statement from the, I think it was a Lyft representative, actually. Those were the two things, the hold harmless and the exact quote is that Uber wants the city to look at the section of regulations regarding fees because they are adamantly opposed to some of the extra fees they're tagging on.
And you regulate this company, you got to be responsible for who's picking people up.
The whole point of Uber, though, is it's part of this new unregulated economy. And the reason
still have to have this agreement with the city.
And the reason Uber works and seems to work so well for so many people is because it is not nearly as regulated. But then you have municipalities who are saying, wait a second, you have an unregulated economy. They look at the internet and say, oh, wait a second. That's all this untaxed stuff.
Right.
We're missing our piece of the pie.
Sure.
And at some point, all the municipalities where Uber is uber popular, they're saying, wait a second, we got to get a chunk of what is rightfully ours.
Sure.
And trying to impose rules. And evidently, in this case, the city of Shreveport, out of the box, am I wrong, attempted to impose too many rules for Uber's liking.
I think they were asking for a bit too much for a city of our size. If this was New Orleans and New Orleans tried to put in similar, fee structures and whatnot, Uber probably like, look at the population, the amount of money, the travel. You're going into uncharted territories.
So the city has, for all intents and purposes, reopened negotiations with Uber, saying we hope we can work this out.
Well, there's a vote today.
Yeah.
Today, the final vote will be to change and adjust the Uber rules.
Yes.
And it looks like it's going to pass.
Now.
And then we'll move forward.
You ask yourself, what does all this have to do with former Yankees manager, heavy drinker, crazy Billy Martin? Well, I'm going to explain. Because when Billy Martin was one of the most incredible. You remember who I'm talking about?
Of course I do.
Billy Martin was. I mean, he was hired by George.
Nut job.
Fired. He was a crazy guy.
Hot temper. Loony.
Incredibly paranoid to the degree that he would imagine. He would conjure up in his mind these plots. Follow me on this because we're going to liken it to someone in this room.
Oh, I wonder who.
Billy Martin would conjure up in his own mind through his own paranoia.
Sure.
That all these people were out to get him. And he would conjure these complex, circuitous, either like DNA, Watson and Crick double helix plans.
Land of evildoers.
Yes, and they were all out to get him. The weird part about Billy Martin was when he realized that he had made it up in his head, he would then use these evil plots that he'd thought up that didn't exist and do them on other people. Now, what does that have to do with Erin?
I don't know.
Because
not a heavy drinker.
No.
No, don't kick dirt on people.
No.
No, hadn't been hired back by my company 8 times.
Might be just a little paranoid though.
Gee, maybe a smidge.
What time did you text?
Let's see.
Respective city council people to
6:50.
Right.
6:52. 6:53.
Good Lord.
6:55.
You're like a crazy ex-girlfriend.
That's 4 different texts to different people.
Okay, the point I'm making is this. Matt, what is it Erin says if whoever she texts doesn't get back to her in like 90 seconds?
Why aren't they getting back with me? Why do they hate me? What did I do? I'm going to have to get on these people and figure out what's going on.
They're mad at me for some reason.
Subtly put. Yeah, that's basic. So you have this Billy Martin-like paranoid streak.
I know.
Maybe at 6:55 in the morning, and they've got other things to do. Maybe they're taking showers. Maybe they have families to get up. Maybe they got kids to get off to school. Maybe
they're laying there in bed ignoring my call.
Maybe they want a couple of cups of coffee before dealing with your craziness.
I'm not sure I could have phrased that better myself.
Oh boy, one did get back, so we'll chat with Michael Corbin about Uber at 7:40.
19 past 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM.
The rest of them, y'all can go. No, never mind.
Y'all bunch of crazy. Why do you hate me?
Let me kick some dirt on you.
19 past 7 o'clock. KEEL traffic. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Hearn Avenue near Midway Avenue. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road and Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twenty-two past 7 o'clock. KEEL Sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Houghton's Dak Prescott led the Dallas Cowboys to a 28-17 win over Arizona on Monday Night Football. Bouncing back from a rough outing last week, Prescott dove into the end zone, flipping over a defender to finish a 10-yard scoring run to even the game at 7 apiece in the second quarter. Midway through the third, Des Bryant took a short pass from Prescott, barreled through and into several Cardinal defenders, eventually moving the dog pile over the goal line to make it a 14-7 game after the Dan Bailey point after. Arizona tied the game on a Carson Palmer-Larry Fitzgerald combo late in the third, and in the final stanza, Prescott fired a laser to Bryce Butler in the end zone from 37 yards out while rolling to his right that gave Dallas a 21-14 lead.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Advantage throughout the playoffs. They do on the tiebreaker with the Indians. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twenty-four past 7 o'clock. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. KEEL app is awesome. Presented by Shreveport Security. I just went blank. My mind just went totally blank. Presented by Office Furniture Source.
Yeah, thank you.
Do we have to put a banner the size of the entire
that would
room
be
over there?
Awesome, yes, with a list of all the sponsors, the studio sponsor, the text line, the app. That would be greatly beneficial.
Although it didn't help you at the Mudbugs game, but please continue.
Presented by Louisiana Coin and Laundry. Read for me. See, you've seen, and somebody sent us the link last night. In fact, they put it on my Facebook page, and it was that false, that fake NFL rulebook thing that's going around. It's called A62-63, and it's all this stuff about how players. It's not real. If it has A62-63 attached,
it's not in the rulebook.
It's fake. It's been that has been that
a viral Facebook post.
It's fake news.
Not real. But
that being the case,
there are two different things you need to consider. There's an NFL rule book, which is what they claim that's from. There's no mention of the national anthem in the rule book. I already did a search of that. But there is also what is called a games operations manual, NFL game operations manual. In that operations manual...
Pardon me, the source on this, did you tell me Time Magazine?
Time Magazine has done a pretty detailed report on this. Yeah, and they say that the
you have it verbatim.
I do.
Read it, yeah.
The game operations manual says, and I'm quoting, the national anthem must be played prior to every NFL game, and all players must be on the sideline for the national anthem. During the national anthem, players on the field and bench area should stand at attention, face the flag, hold helmets in their left hand, and refrain from talking. The home team should ensure the American flag is in good condition. It should be pointed out to players and the coaches that we continue to be judged by the public in this area of respect for the flag and our country. Failure to be on the field by the start of the national anthem may result in discipline, such as fines, suspensions, and or the forfeiture of draft choices for violations of the above, including first offenses.
Now, what does it have to do with immigration law? Because if you have laws that everyone ignores and you ignore them, the laws are worthless.
Right.
They are useless.
Mm-hmm.
That's all well and good.
Yeah.
But it's totally meaningless.
And do you find the team or do you find the players who violate that?
They're not going to find anybody.
But if you were to, this doesn't say who has to pay the
mean
fine.
If you had a commissioner with any kind of spine,
Huevos.
or you had, the point is that the league has chosen a side.
Right.
And America ain't it.
Yeah.
The league has chosen a side. The fans ain't it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're not going to find anybody.
Well, it says
They're encouraged.
It doesn't say they have to. It says they may.
Okay, but it says you got to do this.
No, it says you may fine them.
No.
For not doing that.
I'm talking about earlier on where
Sure.
it has player behavior.
Players shall.
It
yeah.
says you got to. Shall means that's not an option. Erin shall show up for work every morning to do the show. That doesn't mean, well, maybe if you're feeling like it.
Wait a minute. Let me ask the lawyers that are listening. It says players on the field and bench area should stand at attention.
Yeah.
Does should mean must? Before that, it says all players must be on the sidelines for the national anthem. Should is a word that I'm not sure I understand legally.
Well,
You should do it.
Roger
You
Goodell.
don't have to, but you should.
Roger Goodell, the owners, the players for the greatest part, have decided what side they're on, whose side they're on, and it's not on the side of their own guidelines. It's not on the side of the flag. It's what it says right there. They've decided, like immigration law, if you're not going to enforce the border, you've got no border.
Mm-hmm.
They have no rules.
Right.
They have decided to ignore their own rules.
Yeah.
29 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. City Councilman Michael Corbin in less than 10 or 12 minutes talking about Uber. What's the latest? Are we going to get it at last? In the meantime, Ruben time. Here's traffic on Keel.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Greenwood Roads dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Lawmakers want to pull state funding from the Saints over protest. State Representative Kenny Havard wants to cut all state funding for the Saints. Baton Rouge Representative Ted James disagrees and hopes this is just grandstanding and suspects Havard is not alone in this sentiment.
We're going to continue to have these discussions in the state of Louisiana. He's picked a topic to latch it to. I know that my colleagues in New Orleans won't be supportive of it. But, we'll see what Representative Havard brings to the table.
James says Havard must have forgotten that lawmakers take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and this violates the First Amendment. Maine Senator Susan Collins announcing what could be the decisive no vote, potentially killing a last-minute Obamacare repeal bill in the Senate.
I have to do what I think is right. I have to do what I think is right for the people of Maine and the people of this country.
Senator Collins also pointed to deep Medicaid cuts that she says would hurt Maine and other states. 2 students are recovering after being hit by a car Monday near Walnut Hill Elementary. The 2 students were getting off their bus when they were hit. The driver was not cited. One student suffered a broken leg. The other had minor bumps and bruises. Both were expected to be okay. Another plane carrying victims of Hurricane Maria arrived in Shreveport. Officials say the evacuees will spread across hospitals throughout the Arklatex. The United Way says at this time there's no official shelter being planned or set up, and that all immediate needs have been addressed. Bossier schools get money from the Department of Defense. Matt Parker has that.
11 schools with military connections in Bossier Parish will split $1.1 million in grant money from the Department of Defense Education Fund. The money will be used to help the schools fund Project Tactical, which stands for Teaching and Connecting Through Interactive Classrooms and Language Arts. To receive the funds, at least 15% of the students enrolled had to be from military families. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
25th ranked LSU continues preparing today for its final non-conference game of the year as the Tigers host Troy on Saturday night. Danny Etling threw 2 TD passes last week to Drake Davis and Stephen Sullivan. The QB says these are 2 wide receivers who should keep getting better as the season goes along.
You know, they're a tough physical receiver backside that we can use sometimes, and they can hopefully, you know, be one of those guys that can get off press and really beat man-to-man coverage and block really well. So that's what we look for with them, and that's something that they've been able to show, you know, the past couple weeks. So hopefully we'll be able to continue to keep growing together and learn.
Head coach Ed Orgeron says they look to get more consistent on offense this week. Mexican government officials still calculating the economic losses of the magnitude 7.1 quake that caused widespread damage in the capital. There's yet another reality show with Northeast Louisiana ties that's quickly becoming the latest TV craze. It's called Rednecks for Hire. David Yelton says so far they've filmed 6 episodes which air on the CW at 6:30 a.m. on Saturdays and 12:30 on Sundays. Now you can also like Rednecks for Hire on Facebook and watch the show through their YouTube channel. Yelton says people like it most when he gets hurt.
And we go catch a possum out of a guy's house. I fall through the deck. The deck was rotten, and I fell through it. You know, I'm sitting there bleeding to death. You know, my leg's all tore up. Camera guys never missed a beat. They're filming the whole thing.
You can see the very first episode right now at KEELnews.com. Partly cloudy with some sunshine today. The high temp about 91. Right now, 75. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Information. KEEL News now.
At least one lawmaker wants to pull state money from the Saints over protests. State Representative Kenny Havard wants to cut all state funding for the Saints, but Baton Rouge Representative Ted James disagrees and hopes this is just grandstanding and suspects Havard is not alone with his sentiment.
We're going to continue to have these discussions in the state of Louisiana. He's picked a topic to latch it to. I know that my colleagues in New Orleans won't be supportive of it, but, you know, we'll see what Representative Havard brings to the table.
James says Havard must have forgotten that lawmakers take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and that violates the First Amendment.
It is 7:36. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. You said you saw Senator Bill Cassidy on CNN?
Yeah, he was on CNN. I didn't see much of it. I was kind of passing through.
Did he seem forlorn down in the dump?
Yeah, he seemed a little bit dejected.
Here's the deal, and it depresses me no end. The Democrats really control the Senate.
How so?
Because it's not 52-48 Republicans. Because in the end, John McCain, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, they're Democrats. That makes it 51-49. They're Democrats.
They're claiming to be Republicans.
Well, they run as Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really not.
They vote as Democrats.
They voted to keep Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
which is a total and unmitigated disaster. The reason the healthcare costs in this country at every level, yours, the government's, everybody's, is because of Obamacare. There's no doubt about that. Everybody admits that. And yet, McCain, Collins, Murkowski, and others on the fence are so afraid. What do you always say? That CNN's going to go on and say, y'all want to kill kids. You want little babies to die. You want to starve old people in the streets. You Republicans just hate, 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 hate. So we will continue to embrace a medical plan that is fiscally destroying this country.
Right. Are we going to have a chance with this other one before the month is up? The Alexander one?
We're going to be against it.
They're going to be against that one, too?
Of course. Well, unless it expands federal control of insurance. Unless it expands federal control of health care, they'll be against it.
Boy.
The best thing about the Cassidy-Graham deal, the Graham-Cassidy deal, was that it gave control to the states.
Right.
That if California wants to do single payer, California can do single payer. If Louisiana wants to do open market, free market health care, then they can. And one can't stop the other. The question is, when California goes broke, as it invariably will if they embrace single payer,
who's going to pay for them?
Are the rest of the states going to pick up California's disaster?
Cassidy told me no. That's not in his bill.
You believe that?
I don't. No, I don't.
So if Cassidy's bill, look, there were good things, there were bad things. You know what I said this last week. You know what the best thing about Cassidy's bill is?
What?
It's not Obamacare.
Yeah.
People say, why'd you vote for Trump? Because she wasn't Hillary.
The worst part about his bill, though, is it gives the control of the money to John Bell and our lawmakers.
Well, you know.
Who wants that?
I would rather, and we talked about that, and you made that point, that Northwest Louisiana occasionally gets the short shrift from Baton Rouge.
We get the gizzards.
On the other hand,
they get the filet.
Since these are federal programs being implemented on a state level, I think that would probably, especially since John Bell, one of the first things he did as governor was to expand Medicaid, the federal program in this state.
And he's very upset about it. He wrote them a letter saying he's opposed.
Well, of course he's opposed. He's a Democrat. Dems will stand together on this.
Right, exactly.
Unfortunately, Republicans do not. 739, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL traffic time. Oh, hang on a second. City Councilman Michael Corbin talks Uber. That is up next. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Greenwood Roads dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Keel app's a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Shreveport City Councilman Michael Corbin is here. Hey, Mr. Michael, how are you today?
Good morning, Erin and Robert. How are y'all today?
Do me a favor before we start. Please tell Erin that you weren't ignoring her this morning at like 6:05 when she first texted you that you might have had something, important to do, like get a good night's sleep. Okay?
I was waiting as long as possible to give her a complex.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate
Another
it.
couple of seconds, she'd have taken an axe.
Uber, Lyft, they want to come. It seems like they're in Zwolle, Spring Hill, plain dealing, but not Shreveport.
Dixie Inn. Don't forget Dixie
Inn.
Inn.
They're there, but not Shreveport. What's been the holdup, and are you confident y'all will fix it today?
Well, evidently they're going to get it right in all these other markets, so when they come here, there's no hiccups. But we did get very promising news yesterday. Two things stood out to me. First, Lyft actually has legal representation in Shreveport, and we heard from them yesterday, and they said very clearly that the changes we're making to the ordinance, Lyft is fine with, and they'll be here soon. We also heard from Uber through the city attorney's office. They had a suggested change which the council may or may not consider, but that suggested change did not seem to be a deal breaker for Uber coming here.
What is that
so
change?
I think that's good news.
Mike, what is that change?
Just in the way that that Uber repays the city. I think we have something in our ordinance for 25 cents per ride, and they wanted a 1% gross revenue going to the city of all of their business.
When the Shreveport City Council put together the initial rules for Uber and Lyft, did you really sense they would accept them the way they were, or was that like the opening negotiating salvo? Did you think they were going to say, "There's no way we're doing that"?
Well, yeah, the city attorney gave a good explanation yesterday. We drafted our ordinance based on what we saw other large cities in the state doing. So we had sort of a hybrid ordinance. What the ride-sharing companies really hoped would happen last legislative session is that the state would come down with statewide rules, so you didn't have every city doing something different. You had control at the state level, but that, of course, did not happen. So it falls back on the cities to come up with their individual agreements.
Did in Uber's and Lyft's rejection of the initial offer, the initial rules, were they in effect saying, you guys just aren't a large city?
I don't know if that is so true as much as the fact that they're just slowly rolling out their services. I mean, there really was not a lot of initial communication, and that may be part of it. It may be just that they didn't like it and they were going to wait and see, what we did.
Let me ask you this, Michael. I understand there also may have been a hiccup with regard to the hold harmless agreement. Where do we stand on that? Is that going to be removed from the Shreveport agreement?
Yeah, that final vote is today, and every indication I have is that will get a unanimous vote from council. So once that is done, I believe that gets the ball rolling, especially with Lyft. And I have to believe that Uber will not be far behind.
And the hold harmless agreement, tell folks that are listening what that does.
What we tried to put in, or what the recommendation of the city attorney was, is that if there was a tragedy involving a ride-sharing company and a passenger, that you could not come back and sue the city or hold the city liable for any part of that. And that was just based off some past incidences that have happened in our region. After some further investigation, a lot of other cities don't do that, and nobody really had any major problem with removing that from the ordinance.
Sounds to me, Michael, the skids are greased, or the greased are skids. I don't know what the cliche is. The point being, do we have, after today's meeting, do you think you'll have a target date for Shreveport and Uber and Lyft?
If their legal representation is back today, I will certainly ask them that. Just the general nature of the comments that he made yesterday lead me to believe that once our vote is taken today, that the ball will be rolling pretty quick.
This does mean jobs for local people who want to part-time gig being an Uber driver, right?
Right. It means it's another employment opportunity for Shreveport and Bossier. And Bossier kind of follows what we do with for-hire companies. So as we get it rolling here, it will also roll in Bossier. It will free up my phone on Friday and Saturday nights because I seem to get a lot of text about 10:30 or 11 o'clock, people saying, how come we don't have Uber? I need a ride home.
Just to clarify for the time being, if Shreveport has Uber and Bossier City and surrounding communities do not, Uber will pick you up in Shreveport and take you to Bossier, but they won't pick you up in Bossier and bring you to Shreveport, right?
There is some agreement between Bossier and Shreveport. I believe that you stated it exactly right. Until Bossier finalizes some things with the ride-sharing companies, we could do drop-offs, but they could initiate a ride in Bossier City.
Impact on cab companies, real quick?
Yeah, I think that will kind of shake out as we go along. There was a conversation earlier, I think, on y'all's show about it's an opportunity for the cab companies to step up a little bit. And I firmly believe that. I think it's, competition in business is good. Certainly there's a demographic that wants ride-sharing companies to be here. They want to control everything from their smartphone. There's another demographic that is a little more old school and wants to use cabs, have relationships with their cab drivers. So I think there's room for everybody in here. And if it makes everybody perform better and the cab companies have better cars, then that's a great thing.
750, here's your money now.
Kashinka with your money now.
It is 8 before 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, time for sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Houghton's Dak Prescott led the Dallas Cowboys to a 28-17 win over Arizona on Monday Night Football. Bouncing back from a rough outing last week, Prescott dove into the end zone, flipping over a defender to finish a 10-yard scoring run to even the game at 7 apiece in the second quarter. Midway through the third, Des Bryant took a short pass from Prescott, barreled through and into several Cardinal defenders, eventually moving the dog pile over the goal line to make it a 14-7 game after the Dan Bailey point after. Arizona tied the game on a Carson Palmer-Larry Fitzgerald combo late in the third, and in the final stanza, Prescott fired a laser to Bryce Butler in the end zone from 37 yards out while rolling to his right. That gave Dallas a 21-14 lead. The Cardinals kicked a field goal to make it 21-17, but Ezekiel Elliott's 8-yard touchdown with less than 5 minutes to play sealed the win for the now 2-1 Cowboys. Prescott finished 13 out of 18 for 183 yards with 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys surrendered 325 yards passing to Palmer, but they also sacked him 6 times. The Astros pounded Texas 11-2 Monday night with Marwin Gonzalez accounting for 4 hits and 3 RBI. The Rangers are now 6 games out of the wild card, 6 to play. Houston is 2 games behind Cleveland for the best record in the American League and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They do on the tiebreaker with the Indians. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Cough twice. 1017 FM 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Redneck for Hire.
I could so be on that show.
We're going to talk about that more in the 8 o'clock hour. It's on CW Network, and it's called Redneck for Hire, and it's about these 3 guys that it's basically Mike
They do
Rowe.
whatever you don't want to do.
And imagine Mike Rowe meets, what were the Exterminator guys?
Oh, yeah. What's his name? The Exterminator.
Billy
the Exterminator. Yeah. What do they call him? The VexCon guys.
Here's the deal. When you read the story and you had the soundbite, and he said something, with all due respect to him and his show, that's just stupid. He said, everything is like you see it. That the exact quote was, hold on just a second, nothing is scripted.
Yeah.
You know what? You and I have been in contact. You and I have been on. We have interviewed lots of people from different reality shows. Just because nothing is scripted
doesn't mean they don't tell you what to say and do.
Doesn't mean that the fix isn't in. We will discuss a little more just after 8 o'clock.
I'm going to love this show.
In the meantime, here comes Sean Hannity on KEEL.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I'm going to tell you something about how corrupt this media is. We now live in an environment where it's very evident that an opposition party surveilled an opposing candidate during a presidential election. Why, if Mueller is looking into the whole Trump-Russia issue, why didn't he go to Julian Assange? Then we got the question of Hillary Clinton's crimes. Nobody's investigating it. And then Mueller puts all these Democrats to investigate Donald Trump. And now we see it's well beyond anything of Trump campaign Russia collusion. And nobody investigates the deep state leaks. Nobody investigates. This is the most one-sided, backwards investigation that has ignored real crimes I have ever seen in my life. And the American people now are being fed more garbage. They are being betrayed by these institutions.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
7:59 traffic update. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
Erie Drive and East Kings Highways dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now due to construction, and we have some backed-up traffic on Benton Road, just north of Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017
3 past 8 o'clock, Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Erin has local news in just a second.
One lawmaker wants to pull funding from the Saints. We'll talk about that. More victims of Hurricane Maria arrive in our area. And Louisiana in the top 5 for the rate of women murdered by men.
What did I say about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys management? They came up with a plan. We know what we'll do. We'll split the hairs on this. We'll outsmart all those people out there. I got to tell you, I think Jerry and the crew is too smart by half, i.e. too smart for their own good.
Yeah.
We will discuss Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather all here this hour, coming up on Keel.
So we offer companies a variety of safety programs to help reduce workplace injuries and lower insurance premiums.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, yes it is. Discover what's right with workers' comp from LCTA. Talk with your agent or visit lctacomp.com.
A lot of other cities don't do that, and that you could not come back liable for any part of that. And that was just based off some past incidents. If there was a tragedy involving if there was, what we tried to put in or what the recommendation of the city attorney was, is that if there was a tragedy involving a ride-sharing company and a passenger, that you could not come back and sue the city or hold the city liable for any part of that. And that was just based off some past incidences that have happened in. After some further investigation, a lot of other cities don't do that, and nobody really had any major problem with removing that from the ordinance.
Sounds to me, Michael,
After some further investigation, a lot of other cities don't do that, and nobody really had any. In the state doing. So we had sort of a hybrid ordinance. I don't know if that is so true as much as the fact that they're just slowly rolling out their services. I mean, they're really, and that may be part of it. It may be just that they didn't like it and they were going to wait and see, what we did.
Let me ask you this, Michael.
That final vote is today, and every indication I have is that will get a unanimous vote from council. So once that is done, I believe that gets the ball rolling, especially with Lyft, and I have to believe that Uber will not be far behind. Every indication I have is that will get a unanimous vote from council. Every indication I have is that will get a unanimous vote from council. So once that is done, I believe that gets the ball rolling, especially with Lyft, and I have to believe that Uber will not be far behind.
People were calling us about beaver dams.
The show airs on the CW network. A South Carolina sheriff says a man in an '05 Corvette was clocked doing 141 miles an hour on I-20, and when the deputy who stopped him asked why, he said he was on his way to visit his girlfriend in Myrtle Beach and couldn't wait to see her. Partly cloudy, high of 91 today, right now 73. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 9 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Ruben's got traffic.
We have reports of a minor accident on I-220 westbound near North Market, and we have some traffic delays on Ford Street near North Hearn Avenue. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Twelve past 8 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Shreveport Security Systems text line. 318-392-1884. I'm still fascinated by the guy driving down I-20, not in Shreveport, but in South Carolina. At 141 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And the way you read the story was when the policeman pulled him over. So how fast did the policeman have to be going to pull him over?
141 miles an hour, I guess.
would be thinking he had to be going pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
If a guy's going
police cars that don't go that fast.
If a guy's, I'm not so sure.
Oh yeah.
Do you think your standard Shreveport police cruiser? Do you think your
those SUVs?
Do you think your everyday Louisiana Highway Patrol vehicle can travel 140 miles an hour? Then why on earth would you buy a Corvette?
Because they're fun.
No, they don't go 140 miles an hour.
Some of the police cars do. text me if you're a police officer. Send us a text on the Shreveport Security Systems text line.
392-1884.
Yeah, tell us how fast the police cars go.
They won't go 100.
The Shreveport SUVs, those Ford the Raptors or whatever they're called.
I would be stunned if they'll do more than 115 or 120.
They'll go 140, won't they?
Bet not.
They got a souped-up engine in them.
What's the fastest you've ever driven?
I've driven fast. Now,
I'm teeing. I am teeing this up for you. Obviously,
I don't even want to. This is illegal. Something I did illegally.
200 miles an hour.
Close to it. On the closed portion
Do you
of
know
I-49.
this? Do you know this? That she drove 200 miles an hour.
Yeah. I was one of those who got on the closed part of I-49 before it was open with a race car with my ex-husband, and we drove it on the freeway, and I'm sure it went up to 200. I used to drive a little race car in SCCA racing, and we had the highest speed class you can go, which is A modified, and we had a fast little car with one of those big wings on it. The car, I don't know, my ex would be screaming at me right now, but I don't know, the car weighed nothing, and it had like 400 horsepower. It was fast as snot. And
that's a NASCAR term, by the way.
And I actually won a.
I've heard Bill France say that on
you
numerous
just interrupted
occasions.
my denouement.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I won a national championship in that car.
Well, I knew that.
And I won a jacket and a big trophy. And the bad thing about it is that most women who drove in that category, because I mean these cars are scary fast with tires wide as
snot.
Yes, they're wide as NASCAR tires. They're huge. And they're slicks. They don't have any tread on them. They're all slick so that you'll grip the ground. And most of the women, this is so sexist, but true. Most of the women who drove in that classification of car were tire warmers. That's all we were.
I don't know what that means.
We would heat the tires up so that the guys, when they drove in the next heater, had warm tires. The tires were good and broken in.
Turn your mic off a second.
Okay.
I'm going to say something that is crude off the air.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we'll can say yes.
Yes. Okay.
What?
No, I don't say that on the air.
No.
No, don't say that on the air.
But my analogy was
So
right.
that's what we were.
Okay.
We were just getting the tires ready, getting them good and broke in.
Yeah.
So that when the guys drove them, the tires were perfect. And I ended up going out there and winning a national championship in the car. And my ex-husband finished 4th or 5th or something like that. I don't know. But he had way more competition. Don't get me wrong. Way more competition than
The
me.
name of the show is Rednecks for Hire.
Yeah.
And it's on CW Network.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what, like 3 guys who do, you guys, Parky, you know more about it than I do. I just heard you talking about it.
They will get the beavers out of your pipes. They'll get the snakes out of your toilets. They'll do whatever you got.
Excuse me just a second. They'll do what?
They'll get the beavers out of your pipes. They'll get the snakes out of your toilets.
That's what
Whatever
I thought.
problem you got.
No, I got that the first time. So it's these 3 guys. It's basically micro. It's Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
It's Dirty Jobs meets Billy the Exterminator or whatever that was.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
And
The first full episode is at KEELnews.com if you want to go take a look at it and see what they're doing.
now one of the guys said that what makes this show unique is that nothing is scripted.
Yeah.
And I said, I mean, it may not be. Let me explain.
That's what
to you.
makes our show unique.
What was the Bayou Billionaires?
Yeah.
That I did that. You were supposed to be on it, and
Sure.
you could not, and I went and filled in for it.
Right.
And what you find, and we've had Shay Deeds on,
Denny and his family,
Jerry
yeah.
Sneary, when Denny Rogers and his family were in Amazing Race or Great Race or whatever it was called.
Yep.
The one thing they all tell you is it's unscripted, kinda. And so basically, it's they tell you what the premise is and you do it, and then they go, hold on just a second. That was good, but this time, Erin, why don't you say? And then they tell you what to say because they've already got it scripted in their heads. And then they do what's called not time shifting. What's the TV term, Matt? Where they take things out of sequence and make you into what they want you to be made into.
Right.
And a perfect example, not of time shifting. What's that? Bar Rescue.
Yes.
If there were ever a reality show where they change everything, where it's all set up for TV,
Yeah.
like the guy goes into the kitchen, the bar rescue guy who's going to save your business. He goes in there into the kitchen.
Is a disgrace.
Well, and they're hanging like tongs over the edge of the garbage pail.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody is stupid enough to hang food tongs
right over the garbage.
over
Yeah.
the edge of the garbage pail.
Some producer might have told him to do that.
You know, that was good, but next time, why don't we? Because you know what? At the end of the day, when you're getting your whole bar redone or your whole house redecorated, you'd be amazed how stupid you're willing to appear.
Right.
For a whole lot of free stuff. 19 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Let's see, the Cowboys too smart for their own good, as the phrase goes, too smart by half. Jerry Jones, at least. I know what we'll do. I've got this figured out. I'm a genius. That's coming up just a bit later this hour. And this Louisiana makes the list as one of the top violent states toward women. I want you to reread that story. You have a lot of experience in that area, and I want your thoughts.
You bet.
There you go. The mic's on now, 19 past 8, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Obviously, somebody's got beavers in her pipes. Traffic update. Here comes Ruben.
Erie Drive and East Kings Highways dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now due to construction, and we have some backed-up traffic on Benton Road, just north of Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayert.
Twenty past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Time for sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Houghton's Dak Prescott led the Dallas Cowboys to a 28-17 win over Arizona on Monday Night Football. Bouncing back from a rough outing last week, Prescott dove into the end zone, flipping over a defender to finish a 10-yard scoring run to even the game at 7 apiece in the second quarter. Midway through the third, Des Bryant took a short pass from Prescott, barreled through and into several Cardinal defenders, eventually moving the dog pile over the goal line to make it a 14-7 game after the Dan Bailey point after. Arizona tied the game on a Carson Palmer-Larry Fitzgerald combo late in the third, and in the final stanza, Prescott fired a laser to Bryce Butler in the end zone from 37 yards out while rolling to his right. That gave Dallas a 21-14 lead. The Cardinals kicked a field goal to make it 21-17, but Ezekiel Elliott's 8-yard touchdown with less than 5 minutes to play sealed the win for the now 2-1 Cowboys. Prescott finished 13 out of 18 for 183 yards with 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys surrendered 325 yards passing to Palmer, but they also sacked him 6 times. The Astros pounded Texas 11-2 Monday night with Marwin Gonzalez accounting for 4 hits and 3 RBI. The Rangers are now 6 games out of the wild card, 6 to play. Houston is 2 games behind Cleveland for the best record in the American League and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They do own the tiebreaker with the Indians. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
24 past 8, Robert and Erin, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. The story you had, Louisiana and violence toward women. Explain. Read that story. There was a couple of interesting lines, especially when it comes to guns, I kind of wanted to take a look at.
Yeah, Louisiana ranks in the top 5 for the rate of women who are murdered by men. The Violence Policy...
What's the source of this? Okay, go ahead.
Violence Policy Center looked at the latest data available, which is 2015, and found the rate in Louisiana is double the national average, and Louisiana has the 3rd highest rate in the country. The woman who is with the executive director of the Coalition Against Domestic Violence says the numbers sadden her. She says one factor is easy firearm access for abusers.
I heard you say that. Easy firearm access. And well, go ahead. Tell everybody what that means in this context.
Essentially, she says the state and federal laws prohibit abusers from possessing guns, but Louisiana lacks any consistent process for implementing the prohibitions. That's where your problem is.
Now, if folks don't know, in the field, in the area of domestic violence, you have a great deal of experience. Tell folks what you did.
Spent about 5 years working with the YWCA. I was a victim advocate for the group and would go out and help victims.
So pardon me, you've seen and you've told a couple of stories on the radio before. You've seen some pretty hairy stuff.
I've seen and heard it all, and it's not a pleasant thing to be going through, and it often can be a very dangerous situation for not only the victim and her children, but for all the people in that person's life and police officers.
You've told stories previous about literally that you would, bluntly speaking, help victimized women escape.
Yes.
At like 2 or 3 in the morning with their kids.
Yes, I have been to several homes late in the night, early in the morning when they knew they could get out.
Where the abusive husband was.
He was gone.
And
we would pack up. I had a checklist of be sure you get birth certificates, get medical records, get, prized photos, possessions that mean something to you that are sentimental because you may never get back in this home. And we would pack the woman and the children, if there were children involved, in my car and drive them to a safe place. And, it's one of those jobs, while it was a part-time deal for me, because I was still obviously doing radio, but it's one of those jobs that you take home with you. It goes home. I can still see the faces of many of these women. And they often will go back to the abuser. That is part of the cycle.
I was going to ask. You would tell me that in many instances, you had to, I was going to say almost had to, no, you had to, in some instances, convince them to leave because they perceived the blowback, the consequences of leaving greater than those of staying.
Yeah, and they had no resources. Typically, an abuser isolates you from family and friends. You don't have control over the purse strings. You typically don't have a job because he doesn't want that to happen. He wants to be totally in control. And you have limited resources. And that's a huge, huge problem. And, it really, when you go get away and you're in a shelter and you're safe, that's great. But then what?
You don't stay in the shelter forever.
Exactly. Then you have no money. You don't have a job, or if you do get a job, it's going to be very low wages, and you have children you need to get to and from school, and typically the abuser's not doling over cash to you to help you with the kids. That we had to fight for child support.
I would think you as a woman in that situation are constantly looking over your shoulder.
Oh, absolutely. We'd have to get new phones for her. We had to get new everything. I mean,
bluntly put, it ain't that big a town. It's hard to disappear.
Yes. The kids had to switch schools. I mean, it's a horrible, horrible situation. And I'm sad to see these numbers in Louisiana still up near the top. It really is. It saddens me. And part of the problem, and she hits the nail on the head, we have inadequate funding for domestic violence services in our state. Our community is very, very low on that totem pole. We have very limited money right now to help these folks.
29 past 8, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Erin has local news just ahead right now. Traffic time. Here's Rapid Ruben.
Looking at some super slow-moving traffic on Linwood Avenue between Westburg Coons Industrial Loop and Mount Zion Road due to heavy construction. And we have some backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Very warm today. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91. Patchy clouds, warm and humid with a low of 71 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Maine Senator Susan Collins says she's a no vote on the Graham-Cassidy bill. She says the Congressional Budget Office review was the final straw.
It found, as I expected would be the case, that it would have a negative impact on millions of Americans who are now insured.
She says the Graham-Cassidy bill would cause many Americans to lose coverage and cut protections for people with pre-existing conditions. Baton Rouge Representative Ted James says fellow House member Kenny Havard is wrong to suggest the state should stop providing tax money to the Saints because they had players who didn't stand for the national anthem. James says Havard must have forgotten that lawmakers take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and that violates the First Amendment.
People don't have to ask permission to protest or the manner in which they protest. Representative Havard, he wants to pick on certain size women and strippers. Now he wants to pick on black athletes.
Havard says he believes in the right to protest, but not at a state-subsidized sporting event. Students hit getting off a school bus. Matt Parker with that.
2 students are recovering after being hit by a car Monday morning near Walnut Hill Elementary. The 2 students were getting off their school bus when they were hit by a passing car. The driver was not cited in the incident because the students entered the roadway before the crossing arm was out to stop traffic. One student suffered a broken leg, the other minor bumps and bruises. Both are expected to make a full recovery. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Another plane carrying victims of Hurricane Maria arrived in Shreveport last night. Officials say the evacuees will spread across hospitals all throughout the Arklatex. The United Way says at this time there's no official shelter being planned or set up. Once again, Louisiana ranks in the top 5 for the rate of women murdered by men. Executive Director of the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, Mariah Wineski, says one factor is inadequate funding for domestic violence services for those seeking immediate safety.
So although they are working very hard and they provide excellent programming for domestic violence victims, they are stretched dangerously thin in our state.
We have the 3rd highest rating in the country. Mexican government officials still calculating the economic losses of the earthquake that caused widespread damage in the capital. But for the manager of a downtown restaurant, it's already all too clear. Sitting in the entrance of his damaged restaurant surrounded in caution tape, he said, "This is a bust." 25th ranked LSU continues preparing for Troy. Now, last week, LSU focused on not committing penalties, and they only had 3 called against them in the Syracuse game. Coach O, though, says Syracuse did a good job of pressuring Danny Etling and Miles Brennan. Coach O says the offensive line can't get beat in one-on-one battles.
A lot of times they were blitzing those inside linebackers, and we should have picked them up. There was a couple of miscommunications in our protection, but the ones that we're most disappointed on is the technique and the one-on-ones.
Again, the Tigers play Troy at Tiger Stadium Saturday night. This sounds like a scene right out of Raising Arizona. A 1-month-old baby found on the side of an Oklahoma interstate in a car seat, stuffed with $5,500 in cash and a birth certificate. The baby is now in state custody while authorities investigate. Partly cloudy today with our high temp near 91, right now 73. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
It is 8:35. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. I got a question for you.
Knock yourself out.
And I'm being kind of serious. Danny Etling, the LSU quarterback, kids have dreams.
Sure.
That young athletes have stars in their eyes. And so, when he was like in 8th grade and he was the best quarterback in middle school, he dreamed of being... Well, I don't know where he's from, but wherever it may be, let's say California, he dreamed of playing for the 49ers or whoever his favorite team was. And he gets to high school and he's still a star. And there's dozens, if not more, schools pursuing him to come to their school on scholarship and be the quarterback. And he still, he still has dreams of being a star in the NFL and, in fact, is probably counting on it.
Right.
At what point do you think it's occurred to Danny Etling at this point? I'm playing out the string.
Yeah.
That I'm probably not going
to play in the NFL.
I'm most likely, the dream is over. I most likely am not going to be a quarterback in the National Football League. And that everything I've counted on since I was 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 years old is gone.
Yeah, he's realizing this is not.
And do you think what?
Have you seen some of the quarterbacks in the NFL? I would take Danny Etling over some of those guys in a heartbeat.
Oh, come on.
The fact that you LSU fans are so he doesn't throw for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns a game. Bench him. That doesn't make sense.
Really?
If you really think he's got a future in the NFL, you are smoking way more than Colorado Brownies.
I'm not saying he's going to be a starter. I'm not saying he's the next Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. But the fact that he can't get a job, he sucks, is I think might be a bit naive and stupid.
You still think, not that it's wrong at the age of 20 or 21 or 22, that Danny Etling still has dreams of playing in the National Football League?
Of course he does.
No, come on.
And if you look at some of the guys that are on NFL rosters today, he should have those dreams.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
You need to be a superstar at your college to have any chance.
It is your opinion that Danny Etling is an NFL quality quarterback?
For a backup position, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
So you disagree. You think Danny Etling, and look,
he will never play one down in the NFL.
I don't mean playing out the string of his career in a bad way. It has probably made him appreciate the game more and try harder. And it's made the game, it probably has made him cherish these final 6 or 7 or 8 games.
Well, sure, and that's a good thing for us.
Even more.
Yeah, that's a good thing for us. I mean, he couldn't do the job at Purdue, transferred to LSU. He's semi getting the job done for us.
Matt so vehemently disagrees with this. Go ahead. What?
I mean, the quarterbacks you LSU fans who love that have been on LSU squads have turned out to be complete and utter trash in the NFL. Why can't this kid do the same thing and get a nice little paycheck sitting on somebody's bench? Well, what's the difference between him and Matt Flynn, or him and Jamarcus Russell, or him and what was the other kid?
Pardon me. Matt Flynn was the quarterback for what, a national championship team.
I know.
Jamarcus Russell was.
They were successful at LSU.
They had a lot of players around them, and as soon as they got in the NFL, they got benched.
In effect, what you're telling me is right now there are NFL scouts looking at Danny Etling and LSU and saying, we need to draft that kid.
If we can get him in the 6th round, why not?
839, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, traffic and weather updates right now. Here's Ruben.
Erie Drive near Strathmore Drive dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 841. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. I don't know if I want to. What?
I have a question of you, are you going to never watch NFL again? Is that your decision?
I have no idea.
Never going to watch it again?
This is a week-to-week thing. I don't know.
Okay, so Sunday you're probably out?
The problem is, see, I came in this morning. I didn't know what happened to the Cowboys last night.
Okay.
I didn't know what had happened pregame. I didn't know what happened pre-anthem. I didn't know whether they had won or lost. And come to find out that Jerry Jones tried this splitting hairs. You know, we can have this both ways. And so what happens is the Cowboys come out and they lock arms before the anthem.
Before the anthem started.
And they kneel down.
For about 10 seconds.
In a display of unity.
Then they stood back up, and then Jordan Sparks sang the national anthem.
And then they stand up arm in arm for the anthem. And so Jerry thinks, and I've seen it on, I saw it on TV last night, this morning, and I've seen it on social media all morning, is that Jerry Jones is a genius. He figured out a way. Let me tell you something. The average NFL fan, they don't split hairs like that. Jerry is too smart by half. He's been too smart for his own good. He thinks people are going to see, well, the Cowboys, all people are going to see is the Cowboys knelt down. They don't give a damn when they did it.
Yeah. A lot of people won't even realize they didn't do it during the national anthem.
And so Jerry trying to, this Machiavellian, he trying to move the chess pieces and figure out to walk this tightrope of media criticism or lack of. Look, no matter whose side you're on in all of this, no matter what you think about protests or standing up for the flag, the bottom line is, and let's be capitalistic, let's be financial here. There's no way this ends well for the NFL.
No. People are boycotting sponsors. The ratings were down Sunday night. It was the worst Sunday night NFL Sunday in history, did they say?
They have painted themselves, the NFL has, from the commissioner to the owners to the players. They have painted themselves into such a corner How do you end this? You tell me, how do you end this? Because as soon as the team comes out and doesn't kneel down or doesn't remain seated in a blatant, overt disrespect of America and its flag, then somebody's going to stick a mic in your face and saying, you wussed out. You're selling out your team. What went wrong? Do you love Donald Trump after all? Are you a Nazi too?
Yeah. You must be racist.
So you tell me, how does this end? How does the NFL get its neck out of the sling that has put itself in?
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I told you this yesterday. It's going to end up being where we're going to have no more national anthem at the games.
That ain't going to happen.
I bet it does.
That ain't going to
They
happen.
already don't show it on ESPN. Never shows the national anthem. They showed it last night because of the controversy.
Here's the deal. Here's the problem. Is the NFL, Jerry Jones last night, for example, they're thinking one thing, and fans are thinking another. And here's the analogy, like the team, the league, and say, we're standing up for equality. We're in the eyes of the average fan, Joe and Josephine Sixpack, they see them disrespecting the flag.
Sure.
And they don't see much else. Here's the problem, and this was the analogy I used in the 6 o'clock hour. Ladies, I think you might be able to identify with this. You catch your husband cheating. And you say to your husband, what the hell, dude? You're cheating. You are endangering. You have endangered our marriage, our family. You have broken our vows.
You got to go.
And your husband looks at you and he says, no. You don't understand. She means nothing to me.
Okay, whatever.
And you say, well, it might mean nothing to you, but it freaking means something to me and our family and our marriage. And he says, no. You just know. You don't understand what it means to me.
It's nothing.
And it means nothing to me. It's like the old adage, it's not personal, it's business. And the response is, well, it's personal to me.
Sure is.
The NFL can say it's about unity.
Right.
Or equality, or any of the other things that they say it's about. And they can chant, and they can make that their mantra, and they can repeat that over and over and over again. But in the eyes of the fans, it means disrespecting the flag and not being patriotic and all of the things that, oh, no, it's not. No. And Jerry Jones last night, he comes out, well, we'll kneel down in for equality and in unity, and it'll be before the national anthem, because we don't want anybody to think we don't respect the flag and the anthem.
Because we're America's team.
He's too smart by half. All people see this morning is Jerry Jones kneeling down with the players.
Right. Seeing those photos. They're kneeling down. The flag's behind them. Oops.
But she doesn't mean anything to me.
She doesn't mean anything. Yeah,
right. So
I think what's going to happen at one game, you're going to have a group of fans get up and walk out in mass. You'll have a couple of hundred people who have organized some sort of exit from the stadium, which may make an impact. Of course, it'll have a financial pinch, too.
This is not. The NFL.
There's no good out here.
The NFL, unless they are totally deluding themselves, which, look, they're having their ass kissed by media.
Yeah.
Okay? They are being told they're doing the right thing. They are told they are awesome by the left-leaning media and sports media.
You bet.
Oh, you guys are awesome. You're standing for something. You're socially aware. Doesn't mean anything to me, but it means something to them, i.e. the fans.
You're going to be standing for something that might end what you love.
And, well, now we're talking about yesterday's they're killing the golden goose. But in the end, if the NFL right now, if Roger Goodell and the owners and whoever else aren't having meetings today and asking themselves, how do we end this?
Yeah.
How do we end this? And I don't think they are.
I hope they are. There's going to be a lot of us watching Sunday to see what they do with that anthem.
A lot more sitting.
And a lot of people not watching. You're right.
848, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Hang on a second or two. Your Money Now is coming up. And traffic and weather updates next on KEEL.
Yuri Drive near Stratmore Drive dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun followed by some clouds and a high of 91 today. Warm and humid tonight with patchy clouds and a low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer. Low of 71 degrees. Your AccuWeather.com forecast. I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Jennifer Kashinka with your money now. Stocks opening higher.
It is 8 from 9 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Houghton's Dak Prescott led the Dallas Cowboys to a 28-17 win over Arizona on Monday Night Football. Bouncing back from a rough outing last week, Prescott dove into the end zone, flipping over a defender to finish a 10-yard scoring run to even the game at 7 apiece in the second quarter. Midway through the third, Des Bryant took a short pass from Prescott, barreled through and into several Cardinal defenders, eventually moving the dog pile over the goal line to make it a 14-7 game after the Dan Bailey point after. Arizona tied the game on a Carson Palmer-Larry Fitzgerald combo late in the third, and in the final stanza, Prescott fired a laser to Bryce Butler in the end zone from 37 yards out while rolling to his right that gave Dallas a 21-14 lead. The Cardinals kicked a field goal to make it 21-17, but Ezekiel Elliott's 8-yard touchdown with less than 5 minutes to play sealed the win for the now 2-1 Cowboys. Prescott finished 13 out of 18 for 183 yards with 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys surrendered 325 yards passing to Palmer, but they also sacked him 6 times. The Astros pounded Texas 11-2 Monday night with Marwin Gonzalez accounting for 4 hits and 3 RBI. The Rangers are now 6 games out of the wild card, with 6 to play. Houston is 2 games behind Cleveland for the best record in the American League and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They do own the tiebreaker with the Indians. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Okay, so I have been in radio for, oh my God, since 1972, 82, 92, 02, 12, 14, so 43 years. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin, I tell you that to tell you this, that every day you learn something new if you're paying attention. Earlier this hour, Erin was telling the story about how she used to race cars, and she drove cars at 200 miles an hour. She won a national championship when, to use her lexic, most women they're nothing but tire warmers for their husbands. And I said,
sounds really sexist.
I said, let's close our mics because I am going to use an analogy here. And we closed our mics, and I said it. Well, evidently, there's a lot of lip readers out there. And they knew what I said.
Yes, they did.
And agreed with my assessment of the situation. But here's what I've learned, and here's what we should have done. And in the future, here's what we'll do.
Okay.
Our terrestrial transmitters, the AM and the FM, are on 7-second delay.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're listening to AM or FM, it's a 7-second delay. There's a button that if somebody says something really awful, we hit, it dumps and rejoins the program real time, and then slowly replaces the delay again. The point being, I could have said what I said on the radio. Matt could have hit the dump button on the stream and on the video feed, not under the aegis of the Federal Communications Commission.
Right.
Everybody would have heard what I said.
Yeah, we could have said it.
And he could have dumped out from the terrestrial
just for the radio
feed,
part,
and we would have. Don't you think that's a good idea?
We could do that.
I don't like this idea. This is a terrible plan. Don't you get any ideas specifically?
Boy, it'd be lots of dumping.
Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. Here comes Kim Commando on KEEL.
When it comes to looking out for customers, tech companies have perhaps the worst track record possible. Consider Equifax. They didn't tell you about the theft of your personal information because they didn't have to. Kim Commando with your Tuesday Consumer Tech Update. To be fair, no company really wants to admit that it was hacked, because in every case we've seen so far, it's been the company's fault. They're never the victim. You are. Equifax was hit twice before fessing up. For Yahoo, it was 3 times. And then there was Target, Home Depot, and eBay. They hid the news as long as possible. When caught, they paid some fines and moved on. It's time for a change. Maybe it will take an act of Congress, or perhaps the Federal Trade Commission could do it alone. Mandatory disclosure laws would force companies to tell you immediately when your data is stolen or compromised. Then maybe the companies will care more about their security in the first place. Either way, the damage that they're doing cannot continue. Our tech news is updated all the time at news.commando.com. That's KOMANDO.
Why just listen to the Kim Commando Show when there's so much more? Why not watch the whole show in high definition on your phone, tablet, or television?
This is so cool because you're so nice.
Or download the podcast in crystal clear digital audio. Watch or listen on your schedule, driving, exercising, or relaxing.
I have been following you for years, and you've made me pretty much a genius.
But Kim's Club is so much more. You also get security and data breach alerts, priority calling into the Kim Commando Show.
My favorite digital goddess. I'm so glad I get to talk to you.
And Kim's Club offers discounts for everyone